Welcome to your weekly program, BelAhdan, the show that brings Muslim American to your living room. You know, we always hear about Muslims in the context of politics and terrorism. Now you have the explosion in Boston. Terrified the heck out of me, and hopefully, you know, everybody is okay. Our condolences and our sorry to the victims and family and friends. And we have to apologize. People stare at us, give us that look, and the condemnation look, even if they are innocent. I have no insight about any terrorist attack. So don't ask me, don't look at me. I'm a victim as you are. Anyway, so we want to look at the Muslim American community here in Minnesota. The community is getting huge, it's bigger. And as the community gets bigger, their problem gets bigger. And with the problem, the social problem, that we don't know much about it, that people cover it, don't talk about it. Family counseling is a huge service now offered by our guest today, Dr. Hamdy El-Sawaf. He's an imam of Mesged Al Aman, Northeast, and he is trained psychologist, psychoanalyst, and he offering family counseling to our community. So he had the pulse on what are the issues facing our community today. Welcome to BelAhdan, Dr. Sawaf. It's very nice of you to take the time and come to our new studio. How do you like that?
I like it so much, and Ahmed, I really thank you so much for inviting me
to
your wonderful program, and I really appreciate your effort and energy and dedication behind what you have been doing, and also what you have mentioned regarding the victims and families and friends of the marathon at Boston tragedy. We here in Minnesota, 160,000 Muslims, and in America, 8 million, and all over the world, 1.6 billion Muslims. In behalf of all of them, we have been indulging in prayers for those victims, families, and friends of that tragedy in Boston.
Wonderful. Now, you know, we live in this country for a long time. We only know about the problem when it's too late. You know, somebody in jail, somebody commit a crime. What is happening before that? And when we first came, you know, we were here. Our problem was very small, simple. It was, you know, finding a job, finding a friend, boyfriend, go to a bar. What simple problem? That's mainstream problem. Tell us a little bit about what are the big issues facing Muslim family nowadays.
You're right, Ahmed. You know, when we came to this country as immigrants, you know, we look for specific things: education, job, living, and so on and so forth. But we do not realize how much of problems and challenges we'll be facing in new land and away from our families and back home and so on and so forth. Being here for so many years, I realized that one of the most challenging problems we're facing here as a Muslim community, or even as a community at large, is the family. Family has been facing many issues. Its spouses, husband and wife relationship, its parents and the children, even for the young generation looking for a future spouse. This is also part of the challenge we have been facing. We do not pay enough attention to the structure of the family, the foundations of the family, the pillars of the family, how you establish a happy family here in West and in America. While I was preparing, you know, to this issue in here, I have read many books and I have seen many things, because in my career being a psychotherapist and psychologist, helping people in counseling when facing problems, I found out that, Ahmed, you'll be surprised, and even our audience will be surprised, the rate of divorce now is getting really, really scary. Some Scandinavian countries, it has reached already above 50% divorce. Here in America, here it's almost the same. We do not have an official statistics among the Muslim communities to tell us how this problem statistically we're looking at it, what the percentage. But I can tell that from the real cases I have seen in our community and in some other communities when I'm invited to do some counseling also, the problem is getting bigger and bigger. And we should do something about it. It's really unfortunate we do not have those people who are specialized in this area in order to help find out what the problem is and where it is stemming from and what the solution are. We're paying our attention to some other things. Build a mosque in here, Islamic center there, so on and so forth, and have, things done. But paying attention to the family is not of a major issue. And to me, personally, if you ask me how you judge the prosperity and success and happiness of any community, I would tell that, how is the family there?
Why people are not forthcoming talking about this issue? They need help. There is not even if they don't have an institution within the community. There is an institution for the mainstream public that people can seek them out. So why people are not talking about their social problem in the community?
I believe that it is first an issue of the leadership. Leadership should really address that issue. As long as we're paying enough attention to many other things to do in our Muslim community, this would be an issue got to be discussed and tackled and looked at and analyzed from the leadership. In terms of people themselves, they shy away to talk about their own problems. They are more indulged in more of materialistic things, which is actually a necessity of life, like job, like
cars and
housing, and so on and so forth. But not paying enough attention to how the family is functioning, especially when you look at psychological, emotional, and social issues there. We shy away, maybe because of our bringing up back home cultural issues. We don't have to talk about those problems unless they are getting serious, and sometimes it's like a nightmare. So now we got to talk about it. But to whom we should be talking about it? Even when we go to our imams, talk about those issues, it's really unfortunate. Some of our imams are not trained enough to tackle those issues. Maybe from the Islamic, Imanic, religious perspective, you could find, many scholars in our community talk about those issues. But when it comes to psychological, social, emotional, counseling aspect, it's really unfortunate. We do not have the trained imam or professional to take care of those issues.
How do you help these guys? Do you help them from your training as a psychologist, or you help them as trained as a religious leader?
As a matter of fact, I'm really blessed by God Almighty to combine both. In my training, being in the area of psychology, having my MA and PhD in psychology at the University of Minnesota, and practicing as a psychotherapist and counselor, and I utilize that aspect. But if it is not, this is the way I see it, if it is not equipped with the Islamic perspective, it won't do a lot of good things. So I have been combining both. You have the Western psychological, emotional, social training combined with the Islamic perspective into it in order to tackle the...
Psychology put a lot of emphasis on the individual happiness and individual psychoanalysis, and people, when they get upset, they just go drink or shop or whatever. There is a solution there in the consumerism culture.
Pseudo solution.
Yeah. So
fake solution, I should say.
It never delivers.
Yes.
So how do Islam approach psychological issues? Somebody has a psychological problem with relationship with the family, girlfriend, drinking, sex, date, all that. So you still have to have a broader framework on how your psychology works.
It is there.
Yeah.
It is in the teaching of Islam. It is in the Quran, revelation of God Almighty to the Prophet Muhammad, and also the traditions of the Prophet himself. It is actually our effort and energy to find them out, like what I did.
Yeah.
Yes, it took me so many years to find out. Like, for instance, if you're talking about the foundation of a family, it has been stated clearly in the Quran. It is in chapter 30, verse 21, where God Almighty is saying, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُم مَّوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Amazingly enough, Ahmed, when we were preparing for our marriage, we have to have the card for the invitation. That verse of the Quran has been imprinted there without even knowing the meaning of it. As the principles
There was no printing.
of and it's easily among his signs, God's signs in here has provided us, that wonderful relationship with our mates in order to dwell with them with tranquility. And he has provided us, this God Almighty, with love and mercy. These
Love
are
and mercy.
the three foundations: tranquility, love, and mercy.
Wow.
I would stop here with the word love. This is not the right translation of it, but it would encompass, as a matter of fact, love, respect, caring, sharing, decision making, and so on and so forth. So these are the three foundations
And those
in
verses,
Islam. This is a verse.
This verse was talking to the man, or talking to the woman, or talk to insan?
Both. Insan. And I'm so happy you mentioned that word, insan. And amazingly, insan goes for male and female. You cannot say insana. No, it's insan for male, insan for female. In order for us to understand, they are human being.
So you don't embark on getting married unless you understand those. You do marriage counseling?
I do.
Okay.
I do. And as a matter of fact, like when you're doing anything in your life, like when you're trying to have your driving test done, I have to work for it. I have to find out, about it.
There's certain fundamentalists.
Partnership, establishing something, business, You get to know what your duties are, what your responsibilities, obligations, so on and so forth. When it comes to marriage, we do not pay attention to this. And as a matter of fact, if you look at this particular verse of the Quran with those foundations, you look at the pillars of marriage as well. One is Islam itself, the teaching there, like the verse I just mentioned, and also the financial stability. And I'm not saying you have to be filthy rich in order to establish a good family, but financial stability has to be there. Education. And here, what I mean by education, it is the secular as well as the religious education. Have the best education ever. You, your spouse,
Scale, whatever,
and your children. Health issue got to be taken care of. And you have to have the social relationship around you. So Iman, Islam, finance, education, health, and the social relationship.
It's like Maslow pyramid.
It's things are there.
But our mosque and our imams, and you say they're not trained. You go and you say, I have a problem at school, I have a problem with his girlfriend. They kept saying, just go pray, go whatever. That solution is traditional, and you have half an hour on an hour Friday sermon every week. What a waste of time, as far as I'm concerned. You go there, here's an opportunity for an imam, for people leaving their work, leaving there to come and listen, and they waste it on just things. It will be like in Hissat al-Din, a religious class.
Ahmad, I absolutely agree with you.
And I'm not trying to be harsh on them.
No. Because nowadays you can learn Islam from many resources, websites. Google it, and so on and so forth. But when it comes to our real issues, challenges, I need someone to enlighten me, to explain to me what is going on, to offer me some solutions, take me step by step. Believe it or not, Ahmed, in our Mesged Al Aman in Northeast, this coming Friday would be my number 14 session talking about family in Islam.
Yeah, we're talking about this.
Family in
this
Islam.
Series.
Yes, series of lectures, presentations.
And so each session has an issue?
Has a specific issue to talk about it, like the foundations of Muslim.
So what are you going to talk about this Friday?
This Friday we'll be talking about those 5 foundations of 5 pillars of the Muslim family, and we'll explain in details what you should be doing, when it comes to Islam, when it comes to finance, when it comes to education, when it comes to health, when it comes to social relationship. People are eager to hear from you what you should do. You have to carry with you some tips and be practical when
Do
you offer
Muslim
them.
in America, their problem is different than the mainstream Americans?
I would say there is a lot of similarities.
Okay.
There is a lot of similarities, but maybe the only difference would be those 5 pillars I talk about, the Muslim family in here, maybe finance for everyone, education for everyone, health for everyone, social relation. Maybe the only difference where you have those teaching from Christianity, from Judaism, or from Islam. Islam has spelled out all of what you need there. It is just your job is to go there. And I can mention to you those 2 books I have read, in order to prepare for this. One of them is السعادة الزوجية في الإسلام. Happiness,
Dr. Muhammad.
Dr. Muhammad Qatanani. This is one of our wonderful from New Jersey. This is wonderful book talking about the Muslim family. And the other one,
and he's talking about the Muslim family
and happiness. Yes, he has been here for so many years.
It's one of the best Muslim family in America.
Muslim family in America. Okay. One of the best books I have ever read. And the other one, Al-Hayat Zawjiyya, Marriage Life and Challenges and Solution, by Dr. Salahuddin Abdul Halim Sultan. He is the president of the American Center for Islamic Research in Columbus, Ohio, and professor in Cairo University, and former president of the Islamic University.
And he's training.
He's an imam. He's in fiqh.
Yeah.
But he had a wonderful view
He's a handsome
about
dude.
how you bring fiqh to the reality of us. Dr. Salah's publication, as a matter of fact, is a more of a research book.
Yeah.
It is real cases he has analyzed, factual things. And by the way, I am in the process of translating both of them to the English language.
That'd be wonderful.
So the 2 books now are targeting the Arabic-speaking people, but I will translate both of them in order to be available, especially for the second generation of Muslims in here. If they cannot read it in Arabic, they can read it in the English language.
Which is another issue too. What are the issue of our teens, our second generation? What are the same issue, dating, identity, looking for material satisfaction of their social problem?
And I'm glad you mentioned this issue, Ahmed, about the youth. Now, if you look at the percentage of divorce and problems and challenges among older ones, with youth and second generation, it is more. Especially when you look at the average age of marriage, it has been getting higher and higher and higher. Longer, yes.
Really?
Instead of being married at the age of 25, wait to 27, 30, 35, and so on and so forth. This is a really challenge.
Why people put off their marriage?
One, no real guidance to teach them, no premarital counseling, which I'm offering in our center. No teaching of those issues for them. If you go and ask dad and mom how I can get married, maybe dad and mom would love to do exactly what they have done. But this is a different generation, in different time, in different country, and so on and so forth. Maybe arrange a marriage and so on and so forth. But also finding a future spouse. This is a really challenge for the Muslim
there is a limitation, you need to marry a Muslim. And then you have, but the culture doesn't give you the framework where you can meet one or you can date and then I've seen a lot of dating service targeting Muslims, which is really fun. I mean, kind of bring Muslim together on the internet and they can meet each other, so that technology can solve some of this issue.
Yes.
So is this an issue at all? It seems to me like teens, even if your parents are strict, you have your ways of meeting the opposite sex some way or
But
not.
you can have an alternative, Ahmed, in our masajid, in our
so
mosques,
how
in
do
our
we deal
centers.
with that?
You can have matrimonial service.
Yeah.
Someone to submit an application, stated that who he is, and another one who she is.
It's like a match, whatever.
And for the imam, if you find good matching, and say, here you go, and under our supervision, under our premarital counseling and teaching of Islam and so on and so forth, here is what you can do. There is a solution.
So the problem that our teens facing, well, we don't care about the old people. They're gonna die in 10 years, so or 5 years. So just forget
Or
about
less.
it. Yeah, or less. I hope not now. But our teens, our future, our kids, or whatever, their problem closer to mainstream problem. But we try to solve it with a traditional solution. And do they accept that? I mean,
They don't accept it, and also keep in mind, Ahmed, the mentality of that new generation, and the atmosphere and the environment and what they need. Believe it or not, Ahmed, with that new generation, we do not have a good communication.
Yeah,
that's an issue.
Well, it's everywhere.
Tell me about how many parents would sit with their kids to communicate and discuss this issue.
This is culture-wide, the American ways.
Right.
People don't talk to
even
their
with
kids.
our kids, even with our kids, tell me in a weekly basis how many minutes, and I'm not saying how many hours, you as parents you spend with your kids
I have
talk
texts
about
and
things.
Facebook and Twitter. I'm going to talk to this old
That's
man.
fine.
They're going to tell me, go pray.
This is the norm now.
Go pray, go pray.
Yeah.
No, I was talking to Dr. Raghib Sirgani. I think you've seen him.
Yes.
And it was fascinating because he's a scholar and he does a lot. But one of his session, he was dressing a pullover, red pullover. It almost reminded me of Ahmed Shafiq.
Ahmed Shafiq is a famous pullover.
Famous pullover.
Before the election.
And I was, asking. He said, I need to appeal to the kids. I need to appeal to the young people. I want to look like them. Did this your mind? People come and see you.
Wonderful approach.
Maybe I'm not going to.
Why not to attend their activities?
Yeah,
why not we be with them?
Yeah.
Why not if they're playing basketball? If they allow us, if not playing,
if
at
they
least go watch
them.
Go watch them, and share their interest.
I want to end this because we run out of time here about those 777. Briefly, one minute, maybe listen. Tell me about the philosophy about the Prophet Muhammad, so how you raise your kids. You have 7 years, second 7 years, and third 7 years.
This is a way of upbringing our children in here, and it's so amazing. 1400 years ago, when they say, in order to take care of them, look after them, 777. The first 7 years dealing with our children, just take care of them.
Yeah.
Take care of them. Yeah. And the second 7, discipline them. And then educate them on the third one. And leave them alone. They can do whatever they would like to do, as long as they are equipped with those 777, teaching, supervision, caring, sharing.
You don't sleep 1-7 and then you say, well,
no, it's a continuous. It's a continuous.
You have to pay your dues first.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. It's very enlightening things. Dr. Hamdy El-Sawaf is an imam of Mesged Al Aman of Northeast, who does also family counseling. Everybody needs some issue. You need to go and talk to whatever. I wanna end this with another community activities. Last week was Sham al-Nasim, an Egyptian American, got together, and I had traditional food at Marhaba restaurants, and I went there and I talked to them and I covered this Sham al-Nasim, which the Spring Fest. At Egyptian, was strictly Egyptian, I guess. Well, we'll see you next week. Assalamu alaikum and God bless you all. In the heartland of the Midwest in the United States, Egyptian Americans are celebrating Sham al-Nasim, who are here gathered at Marhaba restaurant in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Member of the Egyptian American community getting here together to celebrate the tradition of Sham al-Nasim, where we have traditional food, where we have traditional stories. Now we have the fish, as you all see. It's a special fish made for us. And we have a special basara. And just the idea that we revisit this wonderful holiday that marks the beginning of the spring. And as you can see here, a few of the Egyptian American community gather here today, and we chat and reminisce about our memory of this holiday. And we're going to talk to some of those people who are from the Egyptian American community.
We go out for lunch, or early lunch, or like kind of brunch for Sham al-Nasim in Egypt to celebrate spring. So that's a little different. And we usually don't eat this kind of fish. We eat the pickled fish.
About Sham al-Nasim, when we were kids in Egypt, because we are living in the city, in Cairo, we always go to the gardens, and especially Al-Anatir al-Khairiyya, to spend Sham al-Nasim there in the open air. And all the families, they go to the gardens And also in the gardens, always there will be music.
My memory of Sham Nissim would, the neighbors would go and get the branches from mulberry trees that actually drops the leaves in the winter. So come spring, they start leafing out, and that was a good sign of spring.
Yep, but I love hummus. I was eating that. Yep, and I like fish.
It's always nice weather by the time you get, in Sham Nissim time in Egypt. It's usually in April or so.
So we celebrate the Sham Nissim in the club early, in 7 o'clock in the morning. We go there to have our breakfast, and in this breakfast there should be fish and onion, the green onion.
But I guess this is the first time I've had the traditional Sham Nissim food. So.
The people from madrasa, the religious madrasa where they memorize the Quran, would make a show. They would act, do some acts. That was very interesting and something really looked forward to.
We're painting eggs, but the ancient Egyptians used to paint eggs also. And I guess things like...
You can take the guy from Egypt, but you can't take Egypt from the guy. Ahmed Sombul.
But the fish tastes really good. You just have to watch out for the bones.
And it's the first time that you actually do anything outdoor. You go have a nice picnic with the family. And
when we were younger, my mom, we always thought, we're celebrating Easter, painting Easter eggs and getting chocolate and all those things.
All the kids of the family to go for egg hunt. And we color the eggs, the gold color, red color, and blue color, and blank.